Hi everyone, and welcome to the Summer Weekend in Norfolk 2020. This year, the Summer Weekend in Norfolk is going to be virtual. So we're taping our Food is Medicine demonstration for you here at the Mountain View Green Retreat. And I'm Wendy, and I'll be your host through this demonstration. So my husband and I, Mike, here at the Mountain View Green Retreat, we have a very big commitment to providing and serving foods that are good for your health. The idea is that the more that we can eat healthy, delicious foods, the more we can have a more less stress, right, related to health conditions, less suffering. So we're very committed to that. And so this year we're giving you this Food is Medicine demonstration. We hope that you enjoy watching the video, maybe trying some of these recipes at home, and hopefully you'll find that you can make some changes, right, to your daily routine, your daily eating routine that can help you to have a more healthy life and healthy body. So today's Food is Medicine demonstration consists of sweet potato black bean burgers, which are quite yummy and very good for nutrition and gut health. Fresh pressed fruit and vegetable juice, which is for energy and stamina, and homemade chocolates for brain power and focus. Virgin Pina Colada for anti-swelling. It's a great time of year for those Pina Coladas. And homemade nut cheese for heart health. So thank you, and we'll get started. The first item on our list to make today is going to be the sweet potato black bean burgers. So these are quite yummy. And so they're a filling, low cholesterol, high nutrition meal. And you may not know that sweet potatoes are one of the most nutritionally complete things that we can eat. It's high in antioxidants and promotes good gut health. By the way, they're also good for our vision. And black beans are a good source of healthy protein. So we want to make sure, as we're kind of moving towards more healthy foods, that we're also keeping our protein intake up, as well as other things. So let's see here. So let's start. In order to follow along, it might be very easy if you download the recipes. So they're available on our website, mountainviewgreenretreat.com, and I'll include a link at the bottom of this video. And there'll also be a link at the end of the video that you can click. Okay? Thank you. Okay, so we're going to start with the sweet potato black bean burgers. And let's see here. So the first thing, of course, is sweet potatoes. What we'll want to have done is you'll take 3/4 of a pound of sweet potatoes, which is roughly 1 large sweet potato or 2 smaller sweet potatoes. And you can either cook it in the oven at approximately like 375 or or 400. 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And then what you can do is, just like slice them in the middle and put them on a baking sheet, and then put that in the oven. Or what you can do is you can, and then when they're done, you just scoop out the insides. Or you can boil them as well. Either one is fine. So here we have our previously cooked sweet potatoes, and I'll go ahead and put that in. Okay, and by the way, these are really super easy to make, but it's a really filling meal, Okay, there's our sweet potatoes. Okay, and then we're going to put in 1/2 cup of cooked quinoa or millet. And so I have my 1/2 cup of cooked millet here. And to make it, it's very easy. You can follow the package directions, or I use about 1/4 of a cup of the millet, dried millet, and fill it with 1 cup of water, bring it to a boil, and then simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes. And then you've got your millet. And we just use 1/2 cup cooked in here, okay? But it's not that hard to do. Okay. So let's see here, and then we're going to use 1/2 cup of either old-fashioned oats. If you use old-fashioned oats, you're going to chop them up. You could use the quick cooking steel-cut oats, which is what I have here, and then you don't have to chop that up. So here I have that, and that is for the oats. It's 1/2 of a cup. So we'll pour that in. Okay, and then let's see here. Then what we're also going to put in is the half a cup of black beans. I'm sorry. What we're also going to put in is 1 can, 15 ounces of black beans, and you'll want to rinse them. Put them in a colander, rinse them, and then drain, right? So we have those here. Okay, so we're going to put that in here. Okay, and okay. So now we're going to put in the cilantro leaves. Okay, so here's our cilantro leaves. They've already, fresh cilantro, already chopped up, and it's 1/4 cup. Okay, there we go. Now we have 1 teaspoon cumin powder. So let me find my teaspoon. 1 teaspoon of cumin powder. So here's our cumin powder. Okay. And then we'll do 1/2 teaspoon of chili powder. Now I make my own chili powder, so this is, there's a lot of recipes online. I basically use pretty much even ratios of oregano, paprika, a little bit of cayenne, and a little bit of coriander, and some black pepper. And then you just mix it around. But there are a lot of different recipes on the internet for chili powder, or you can just buy it right in the food store. So let's see here. So we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of that. 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, it's right there. Okay. And then we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon. Then we're going to use 1/2 teaspoon of smoked paprika. Smoked paprika is a great spice. We use it a lot. It helps to give things a nice smoky, flavorful, taste to a lot of different recipes. So we're putting that here, 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, and then we're going to use 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne. Actually, let's see here. I've got my 1/4 teaspoon. I often put a little less cayenne than it calls for, because I find ours is very, very, very hot. So I'm going to cut back a little bit on that 1/4 teaspoon, but you can kind of put as much as you like. And if you like it very spicy, put in more cayenne. You like it a little spicy, put less. We're putting about 1/8 of a teaspoon here, even though the recipe calls for 1/4 teaspoon. Okay, then let's see here. We need 3/4 of a teaspoon salt. So let's see here. There's our. So again, if you like more salt, you put more in, a little less. We're going to use approximately 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Okay. Then at this point, then we're also going to add, now this is optional, psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is super good for your stomach, very good for keeping things flowing through your body. If you have any problem with constipation or anything like that, you really want to include psyllium husk in your diet. Great for fiber. So we have that here, and they taste really good in these burgers, so you're kind of getting your medicine in your food too, right? So psyllium husk is a very natural, high fiber additive that we can add. So we have some psyllium husk right here. Here's our psyllium husk, and we are going to add 1/2 tablespoon. Okay, there's 1/2 tablespoon. There we go. Okay, so at this point, what we're going to do, here's our food. I don't know if you can see over there. Mash some of it up. This is our masher, potato. You can just use a potato masher. You can even just use the back of your wooden spoon. We're going to start with a potato masher to just kind of mash up some of some of those black beans, right? We want our black beans to be a little broken up, and so the potato masher will help us to do that. Yes, so here we go. They're getting a little more broken up. And you don't have to break all of them up. You just want to try to break up, you know, as many as you can. You'll find there'll still be some will be whole, some will be broken up. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and use my spoon to just kind of stir up the rest of them. Don't want to waste any. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to stir up the rest of it. Get everything mixed nice and good. Okay, there we go. So at this point, this is what it looks like. Okay, okay. So now at this point, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and put this mix in the refrigerator for about 1 hour, and then at that point it's going to be a little easier to work with, right? Because the colder it is, the easier it is to work with. And then we'll go ahead and make our burgers from that, okay? Okay, so our sweet potato black bean burgers have been in the refrigerator for approximately 2 hours. And so now we're going to try to go ahead and make burgers out of them. They should be nice and hard enough to do that. Okay, so now we're going to just make these into patties. Okay, so we can just... And then, and I have, so we put them on a baking cookie sheet, right, a baking sheet, and that is, I have lined mine with parchment paper, but you can, if you have if you don't have parchment paper, one of the things I found is that it's actually kind of hard to find parchment paper right now during coronavirus. I guess turns out a lot of people are baking. So if you don't have parchment paper, and you could always just use spray oil, just spray on your cookie sheet with the spray oil. You just want to make it so that they don't stick to the pan. And so this has made approximately 11. I believe the recipe says it'll make 7. I think it really depends on how big you make your burgers. These ones are about roughly maybe 4 inches in diameter, and to me they look like a normal size burger. Okay. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's turn back to our recipe. Okay, so now we're going to cook them in the oven, in our preheated oven, and we're going to cook them approximately 375 degrees, 21 minutes per side. Okay, and so then once you've done that, you can enjoy your burgers. Okay, so we've cooked our burgers 21 minutes per side at 375 in the oven, and they're done now. So here you can see we have our burger on some nice healthy bread. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take our cheese and put that on the cheese that we made earlier, and put it on our burger. There we go, nice healthy portions. And then I personally like olives on mine, but you can dress it up any way you want. You pick your dressings, right? Tomatoes, etc. And I've got some lettuce, so we'll put that on there. Okay, and now we are all set. Our burger is all ready to enjoy. There you have it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and do our next recipe, which is the super easy homemade chocolates for brain boost, for brain power, helping our memory. These are largely based on coconut oil. We do use a lot of coconut oil, primarily organic, first cold pressed. And the reason is because once the coconut oil has been heated, particularly through some of the refinement process, it does change the kind of health benefits that it has for you. And I just wanted to point out that there's a real big debate now on coconut oil out there on the internet. You know, some studies claiming, you know, some people claiming, oh, it's got saturated fat, so you should avoid it. Actually, you know, obviously any you know, oils, right, that are solid, right, at your room temperature generally have saturated fat. The question is what kind of saturated fat, right? And it turns out that coconut oil is very good at raising, you know, your HDLs, which are your good oils and your good fats. And those particular saturated fats, the HDLs, as compared to the LDLs, the HDLs help to reduce your risk of heart attack, right, and help to kind of right, keep your body running a little more smoothly. So, but there's so many health benefits with coconut oil. I mean, the list is endless. I once got a book that was about the 300 health benefits of coconut oil, and really, I would say for us, as we age, often our mind, you know, we maybe tend to get a little forgetful. So anything we can do to help our brain kind of try to stay on track, right, to kind of help combat that, is good for us. So we do use the organic first cold pressed coconut oil. The kind that we use here, here's an example. As you can see, we do use a lot of it. We order ours online from a variety of different sources, and you can you know, go online and see which one works best for you. We use, you know, Amazon is certainly a source. There's, you know, some of the smaller websites like nuts.com and some others that, you know, that we tend to do a lot of shopping on. So okay, so let's get started. So this is super easy and a lot of fun to make. You can have be creative, right, with making your chocolates. So let's see here. The first thing that we're going to do is just add our very simple ingredients. It's only made of raw cacao, coconut oil, coconut butter, and a little vanilla and a pinch of salt. And then we're just going to heat it up on the stove over low heat, and then we just pour it into our molds and freeze. Very easy. And the thing is that raw cacao, so what is raw cacao? Raw cacao is chocolate before it's processed, right? So it's really the chocolate beans, that's called cacao, cacao beans. And cacao beans are just ground, and then they sell them in the health food stores. You can buy it at the local Stop and Shop. By the way, the local Stop and Shop does a very good brand of the coconut oil. You don't have to buy it in this giant container. And they sell coconut oil in, similar to this, the coconut butter. They'll sell the coconut oil about the same size, which might be more appropriate for you and your family. The Stop and Shop that we have here in Canaan is really super. We use them a lot. So let's see here. So and they sell all the things that we're going to talk about today in this recipe. You can find there. No, I don't work there. Okay. So first, it's a 1/4 cup raw cacao. So here's that. Put that in our saucepan, and then there is raw coconut oil. I've got 1/2 cup of that. So here we go with that. And then we have our 1/4 cup of the coconut butter. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to add 1/2 teaspoon of our vanilla powder, and then a little bit of salt. Really just like a little pinch. tiny bit of salt. Okay. Very good. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go into the kitchen, and we're going to stir all this together on the stove, and we'll be back. We can see that the chocolate mixture is melting. This is what it should be looking like. You can see right now we still have just a few more little flecks of the coconut butter that haven't melted yet. Let's see here, that's pretty close. Okay, so this looks about right. So we'll go ahead and take this off of the flame now. Okay, so we've melted our chocolate, and I poured it into this container, which is a lot easier to pour for me anyway than a pot. So because now we're going to put it in our little cups here. So these I got at our local Stop and Shop over in Canaan. You can find them in most regular food stores. They're just little, kind of like a mini cupcake papers. And what you can do, by the way, you can use almost anything, right, to freeze your chocolates. You can use like little silicone molds. You can use, you know, even like just some, pretty much anything, as long as you can pop it out, right? Because and it's freezer safe, because we are going to be putting these in the freezer. So we'll put our little papers here. I like the papers just because they're real easy to you know, pop the chocolates out of, and they look cute, you know, when you put the chocolates on them. And the interesting thing too is that right, they look like the paper that you might get a real chocolate in a chocolate store in. Let's see here. And by the way, so what we're going to do with these is we're only going to fill them just about maybe like not even an inch, right? Probably about like a half an inch to an inch full. And you can vary it, right? The thing is, you don't want to fill them all the way up. So even like maybe you know, again, between half an inch and an inch is what you want to do, yeah. Because, you know, they're the size of chocolates, right, that you would buy in a store. Yeah, so we just go ahead and put that in there. Yes. Okay. And you might have noticed that when we made these chocolates, I did not add any sugar. And the reason for that is that sugar actually is extremely bad for your health on so many levels. You know, it's feeds cancer cells, feeds bad gut bacteria, just really messes with your brain, particularly as we get older. So if you have any kind of memory issues, you know, you really want to try to cut sugar almost to non-existent in your diet, because it is very, very bad for us. So these, I did not add sugar. What you'll find, I find, is that the coconut butter lends a very nice kind of sweet flavor. So they're not super sweet, right? They're more, you know, they are kind of, you know, just like a dark chocolate. Very tasty. So here's what the chocolates look like now that we fill them up in our little containers, and you can see, right, that they are not very full. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pop these in the freezer, and you want to leave them in the freezer roughly about just till they freeze, right, till they harden. So anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours, and then they'll be ready to eat. Like a very nice afternoon snack in the summer. Okay, so it's been approximately an hour, and our chocolates are now set, so we can enjoy them. So this is basically what they look like. Yes, they are all nice and hard. So you just basically peel and eat. So they look great, they taste great, and there's our chocolate. Enjoy. I do. Well, hope you've been enjoying our demonstration so far. So now we're ready to do our summer drink, right? The virgin Pina Colada. So this one is very good for anti-swelling. If you have any problems with your joints, with your any kind of swelling hips, so this is going to help kind of if you have gout, anything like that. This is really going to help to decrease any of that kind of swelling. And it's also just in general very good for your health, right? You've got fresh coconut and coconut milk, right, in the cans. And basically you're just going to combine them together in a blender, very quick and easy. And it's funny, I always laugh at, like, I know I myself used to do this, where if I wanted a pina colada, I would go to the store and buy a pina colada mix. And basically what's in there is a lot of chemicals, right? I mean, a lot of you can't even pronounce, right, half the ingredients. But to make it is so simple, right? You'll see it's just really such simple ingredients. And it's nice and fresh and tastes so good and guilt-free, guilt-free. Okay, so let's get started. So, okay, so the first thing we're going to put in, and by the way, I'm using a very high-powered blender, but you can really use any blender, even off-the-shelf $20 blender works perfectly fine with this. So we'll take 2 cups of fresh pineapple that I just cut up. Okay, and then we've got our coconut milk that we're going to add as well. There we go. So we put the whole can in there. Makes it very creamy. And all of this you can buy at your local food store. Very common items. If you have a hard time finding coconut milk, try looking in the Asian aisle. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's in the health food, and just sometimes it's in like the normal baking aisle. Okay, and then we're going to add some ice cubes. So here's a few ice cubes. We don't need too many, just enough to kind of give it a little, give it that little frozen feel. Okay, and now we're going to go ahead and blend that up. So that was approximately 30 seconds of blending, and that did the trick. You just want to make sure that you break up all the pineapple chunks and the ice cubes. Okay, so then just pour it in your glass, and you're ready. So there you have it, or frozen pina colada, virgin pina colada. And by the way, you can add whatever you like to it. We like to drink ours just this way. Very good. So now we're going to go ahead and make our nut cheese, our homemade nut cheese. So the great thing about nut cheese versus regular cheeses that you buy in the store is that low cholesterol, actually no cholesterol, and that is very heart healthy. Right? It's made from raw cashews, and raw cashews are very, very good for your heart. You can buy raw cashews. Nowadays, a lot of the regular stores, even Stop and Shop, has raw cashews at times. If for us, we buy them online at nuts.com. You just get better prices. But we had to buy them in bulk, right, to get the better prices. So if you're only going to need a few cashews, just buy them at your local store. Okay, so we'll get started. And this is very easy. Most of the recipes that we're showing you, as you can see, are quite simple. Okay, so you take about 2 cups of cashews, and we just put it in the blender. And then we're going to take about a tablespoon of nutritional yeast. And again, you can buy this at your Stop and Shop in the health food aisle. Okay, and it's very good. It adds a lot of B12 and super healthy for you. Then we've got about a lemon we cut in half, so we're going to go ahead and squeeze that in here. Okay, that should do that. Okay, and then to that we're going to add just about a pinch of salt, maybe 2 pinches. Okay, then now we've got everything in our blender. Yeah. Okay, so now we're going to just cover with water. So basically you make the ingredients level, and then you just want to barely cover with water. And that's, this is roughly maybe about 1.5 cups. But again, just, it really depends on your blender, it depends on how big your nuts are. Barely cover with water, okay? And then you know you're okay. I might even be a little too much. Okay. And then we start. Okay, that's it. Okay, so here is our nut cheese. And this one is pretty, yeah, this one is pretty good. Now, it's a good idea to let it sit in the refrigerator for a little bit before you use it. Let it harden up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm just pouring it into another container so we can go stick it in the refrigerator. And let it sit for a little bit. Okay, so I'll put this in the refrigerator. Okay, so the great thing about juicing is that it's really a great way to supercharge your health. By juicing the vegetables and the fruits, we're really able to incorporate a lot more of them into our diet than we would had we left the fiber in. And the fiber doesn't really have the nutritional value. Fiber is good for us, and it does help to keep our body regulated. And that's why we would eat normal foods, eat other foods as well that have the fiber, but supplement that with a juice. And the idea is that we're really getting all that great, vitamins, minerals, live enzymes that we wouldn't be able to get otherwise if we just tried to eat them individually. So, maybe you can eat 1 apple, or you can eat 1 apple and 2 carrots, but in a juice you could have, 2 apples, you could have 3 apples, you could have many carrots, you could have some celery there too, a whole cucumber. You can have a lot of different things that you can put in your juice that you wouldn't otherwise be able to eat, particularly all in one sitting. So this is really a great way to help supercharge our health. And the other great thing about it is that it does give a lot of energy. It gives you more, it's kind of equivalent to drinking maybe like a cup of coffee. If you drink a cup of coffee, you're definitely going to feel a boost, right? But then that boost goes down. With this, you drink the cup of coffee, and you drink the juice, and what happens is you feel that effect throughout the day. And then the other thing is that, whereas with the coffee, a lot of the coffees that are on the market really have some negative health effects. There are studies that show that caffeine in coffee in particular can have some positive concentration, at least temporarily, while you have it in your system. But there can also be some negative, dehydration effects. A lot of the coffees, particularly not organic ones, have something like 300 unknown chemicals in them. And then there's also if we drink too much and we don't supplement it with water, we could really do some damage. It's also been said that a lot of the coffee that's out there has mold on it, due to the way that it's processed and stored. And so there are certain coffees that are made specifically not to have that mold. So if we are a coffee drinker, we do want to think about trying to get the kind of coffee that that doesn't have the negative side effects, but just has the positives. So something to think about. Okay, so we'll move forward with our juicing because there's absolutely nothing you got to worry about in terms of negative side effects here. Although I would caution that generally you want to have fruits and vegetables. We don't want to focus too much just on the fruits because that could have a little bit, maybe too many carbs, too many sugars that we want to, kind of balance, right? Everything in balance. So we'll start. Let's see here. So I have a juicer here. If you don't have a juicer, that's okay. Maybe you want to think about buying even like a low-end juicer to do some minimal juicing for yourself. And what I should mention is, so today what I'm going to be juicing, I like to think it's good to juice. I like a kitchen sink juice, meaning that you're juicing whatever you happen to have. I feel like there's no magic formula. I always say listen to your body. The more that you listen to your body in terms of the things that make you feel good, long term, that's what you should be incorporating in your diet. Maybe something tastes good, but you eat it and you feel bad later. Those are the kind of things that you want to take out of your diet. So when it comes to juicing, I think you really need to, see what works for you. Generally, apples, if you're going to be doing apples, green apples have a lower sugar content than, say, the red apples, but still have really great health benefits. Pineapple, as we mentioned before, is great for anti-swelling and, again, has other health benefits. Celery has often been used as medicine in a lot of different cultures. Celery is very, very good for health. Beets, really great for brain power, and of course the antioxidant. And we also have kale here, which is high in the iron and some other nutrients that we need. And then we've got spinach as well. There's our spinach. So I've kind of pre-cut up everything, in general, right, so that it's ready for my juicing. Here's our kale, right, and then we've got our beets. Yes. And okay, so we'll get started. Okay, so I'll start with our celery and our pineapple. Go from there. Actually, we'll start with the celery. Pineapple I do last because it is kind of messy. Okay, there you have it. So fresh pressed juice, great way to supercharge your health. Okay. So we'd like to thank you for taking the time to spend with us here at the Mountain View Green Retreat. We certainly enjoyed making this video for you, and we hope that it can help you to make some positive changes in your lifestyle and your diet. And if you ever have time, please stop by and join us. Say hi. During coronavirus, of course, we all wear our masks when we're in the public places, but we certainly do look forward to meeting you, especially once we can get back to being in person again. So take care. Bye-bye, everyone.